What's up? Alex1 playing Nedwis, Mykola Bortnyk, and he's going for the alexy defense. And I always go for this line, which is actually a pretty nice line. Oh, we could go e6 here, I believe. Yeah, I think e6 is the way to go there. So this is definitely a pawn sacrifice, but it's fun. I think knight f3 is the way to go now. I have some feeling we should take on c5, actually. And if knight takes, we could go knight d4. I had prepared this once, and I'm not really sure what the main moves are here, but something about knight d4. Definitely after g6, because now he can't really take, and we're attacking e6. And if he takes on c5, I'm gonna take on c6 and play queen d4. So that's not really possible. So I don't know. If e5, knight e6 might be very good, and then knight takes d5, yeah. That's also very good. So what is he supposed to do here? Bishop c7, knight takes e6, so he should probably move this knight, but he can't take on c5, so... Queen a5? No, that's not really a move either. If he takes on d4... Well, that's just bad, no? Okay, so he still has queen a5, but at least now we've gained a pawn, and we could also... No, we can't really take on d5, since then c3 would definitely be hanging. But I do like the look of bishop d2, since if he takes on c5 now, c4 is, I think, close to winning. c4. And where's the queen going? Queen b6 for b1. So yeah, that's the only move. Okay, so at first I wanted to go a3 here, but e6 is obviously hanging. So what else can we do? We could check him and then play a3, since then he has to move his king also. Yeah, that actually seems really good. So king f8 and then a3. Or king f7. Same difference. Since if he takes on g7 now, we can take on b4, and we're gonna win this knight. And also knight bishop c3 is in the air. I might be wrong, but it seems like there's not really any good way for him to defend here. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take on b4 with the bishop, and then take on d5 with the queen. Oh, he can't go back to d8, which is somewhat stopping queen takes d5. Yeah, if I take on d5 here, it's gonna take on g7. I don't actually mind that. Oh, I might have been able to go knight h5 actually. Since if he takes, queen takes, and then his king side is weak as well. But I was planning to go f3 here. And then if he moves his knight to somewhere else, then f6, we have bishop c3 check. And if he goes to f6, I was gonna go c4. Oh, wow. Yeah. We're winning a pawn now actually as well. So we're 2 pawns up at the moment. And this is very good for us. I mean, e5. What happens if we take on a8? Yeah, okay. Well, g3. Queen e2. And if he takes on h1, I'm gonna take on e5, and that's that. So, that is a move I underestimated. That's actually pretty annoying. King f2, rook f8, or rook f8, king g2. So, this might be a nasty move. Queen d4. If queen d4, queen e3, then rook f8 is winning. So, yeah, we have to go to g2. Jesus. It seems like I messed this up quite a bit. Okay. Does this work? I feel like I have to go, because if I move my queen, well, I could go queen e1, but then queen takes d5. Yeah. Jeez. If I take on h8, he's just gonna take on e2 or d5 as well. Still. How did I screw this up, man? I think rook a4 is the only move. He has to take on e2 now. Because if he takes on d5 now, we have queen e4, which is the problem. And if he takes on a4, we can take on e5. So he has to take on e2, then we're going to take on d4, and he's going to take on f1, and we probably get a drawn ending. Or is there any other trick? I don't see any other trick for him. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this should probably be a drawn ending. We could win this pawn though, but rook c8, and then it's just a draw. Yeah, I wanted to go rook b4 there. Oh, could we go d6 now? Yeah, it's probably nothing. Yeah, this should just be a draw. That super sucks. Since we were just outright winning there. Well, we managed to let that slip. We're still up on time. So, and actually this might be a somewhat promising start here. Since we're just gonna hang on to his pawns, but yeah, it might still just be a draw, I don't know. I'm gonna take that one. I'm definitely gonna flag this guy. Normally I have some sense of morality in these types of positions, but yeah, I need to cut off his king. But how do I move forward is the question here. There's not really any way. No, I'm not gonna draw. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's still a draw. That's one of the problems here as well.
Draw?
No. Since I was just totally winning, I'm just gonna flag this guy. I do know that I've given a draw in such a position, but sometimes you need a over my dead body mentality, I guess. Bravo, he says. I will say thank you. Yeah, I do know it's kind of shitty of me to win this, but whatever. Yeah, this is not the main move. Normally they go d4 here, and they want to go for a position like this. And this is just equal. But after d4 I was planning to go knight ce2. And this is actually a pretty fun line. Knight g4, f4 is the idea. And then you're gonna go c3 or knight f3. I can't quite remember the move order. But it's an interesting way of dealing with the Alyachin. You went knight d7, and I remember we could go e6 here, which is just fun. As you can see, the engine doesn't mind the pawn sacrifice either. And yeah, one of the points is this pawn is weak. The other point is we're controlling these squares in the center. And also his king side is much weaker now. For instance, if we'd go, well, let's say he goes something strange like this, then we can just go queen h5, and this is actually a pretty nice mate. Not that I would imagine an international master will fall for that. So if we like, we could have went for bishop d3 actually, in the hope he takes her. But yeah, that wouldn't happen. So knight f3 is definitely the safer move, and then we have to take. And I'm not sure about g6. I thought knight takes c5 was the main move, and then knight d4 was what I remembered, but I might be mistaken though. I'm probably mistaken, since e5 seems pretty natural and also pretty good. So bishop e5 then, which is definitely a normal move in such a position, just putting pressure on the spin. You went g6, but then knight d4, and I didn't quite see how we was to respond here. The main problem is if he takes now, then queen d4 is pretty gnarly. Just a double attack. So yeah, and d5 is also bad since we have knight e6 and then knight takes d5 afterwards. Well, not after queen a5 actually. We're gonna go bishop d2. This is very bad for him. Although he still has the somewhat absurd move of bishop h6. Oh, well, this might, yeah, well, +3 is still very good for us. But anyways, this move seems bad. Bishop d2 is very nice. It's logical, but I thought c4 was very good. And that was actually only looking at queen b6, but then rook b1. And the queen doesn't really have a place to go anymore. So knight b4 is surprisingly hard to deal with. Knight g7 is the way to go, it seems. And then a3. He has knight takes e2, which I didn't think about, but it's logical since it just stops the option of taking on b4 with the double attack, and the knight can't really move. But on the other hand, can't we just go bishop c3 here? d4, okay. Then e5. Yeah, okay, that makes some sense, yeah. Okay, so he should take here, and queen c7. If we take there, then yeah, queen e5 is the main threat. So bishop e2, d4. Black is actually doing somewhat okay. He's gonna win back the piece, and then he's not even, he's even up material. Huh, okay. Well, instead he played knight e4 and queen d5, which is the only move, since if he goes to c7 now, queen takes d5 and just take on a4. e4 is just winning. So queen d8. Yeah, and I missed that move. I saw it just after I took here. This is actually just fine. If he takes, the queen is coming in, and that's just horrible for black, so he can't really take, and if he can't take, then, well, we're just up a piece then. So yeah, instead I took on d5 and he took on g7, and I figured f4, f3 I mean. If this pawn weren't here, then queen h4 was a move here, but it's not. The pawn is in the way, so yeah. And I thought he had to go knight f6 here, and I was planning to go c4. And now we just have the center under control, and we have the bishop pair, and our bishop would be very strong on the a1 h8 diagonal. So yeah, we're doing more than okay here. We're up a pawn as well. However, he played a5, then we just took and took, and just we're totally crushing here. We should be just easily winning. But he played e5, which is, it feels like it should definitely lose, and the engine says so as well. But we went wrong somewhere. Let's see where. So taking, yeah, g3 is also normal. Takes queen e2, which is the main idea here, obviously. Since if he takes on h1, I'm just gonna take on e5 and it's done. Takes on b4. c3 is the move. I was looking at that, but I didn't see the... Ah, so the point is, if he takes, we're just gonna go queen d2 and he doesn't have a check anymore. So, and if he goes queen b1, then we can just go to f2, then queen b6, then just g2. Yeah, and then he doesn't have the queen takes d5 as in the game. Since now queen d4 is very annoying, I was planning to go queen e3, but that just loses. Because of bishop g4 here. It's just done. So king g2 is the only move. King e1, bishop g4 is also gnarly. But no, yeah, bishop g4. Actually, rook a4 seems like one of the only moves. Queen d3 also is a move, but it seems to draw. Whereas rook a4 somewhat keeps an advantage, but I feel like this ending should be a draw. However, I also feel like he misplayed it a bit. Since this, I think h6 might be better. Or g5, yeah. I don't know. It feels like we get the extra option of attacking those pawns, and this move is probably not the best. However, taking here is also drawn. It's the same outcome, so yeah. Oh, but now we get an extra chance. I thought we would be winning here, but it seems like he has a way of drawing here with the rook d2. Since if we go h4, then rook d3 is easy, an easy draw. Takes, and now my king is cut off, and it's just an easy draw. We might, normally you'd want to take with the king, but this somewhat fails after rook h8, I guess. Oh, maybe not. Oh, king f6. I thought rook h8 would win back the pawn and just easily draw, but since this ending is not as easy, since the king is way out of place. If the king were to be on g8, well, even then, since my king is so good, so active here, this is a hard defend, and I actually even think this should be winning for white. Although I don't really see any direct move. So maybe I should have taken with the king. Although after king f6 I still don't see any way of continuing here. Probably a check somewhere. No? Check here. Yeah, and it's still a draw. So we took with the pawn. But yeah, this is probably just a draw, even though the engine likes it. Yeah, this should just be a draw. The h-pawn is... in rook endings the h-pawn is always a draw actually. But yeah, we managed to flag him, which is not really nice of us, but you know, whatever. Oh, actually. Whoa, we might have even gotten somewhere. Still a draw, I guess. What are we gonna do? He's just gonna pass. And if we go to f6, he's gonna check. Yeah, there's no safe square for our king. So this is definitely a draw. Although it's +2. Anyways, flag. And we get the win. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.